So, this week for the Red Wings, this week was officially the week where the Red Wings' slim playoff hopes officially crashed and burned. Like, whatever hopes the Wings officially had entering this week, it went out the window very fast with them having back-to-back losses. Just the Wings season for you. A lot of that's just the Wings inconsistency for you. Not much to say there. You know, Tigers are slowly wrapping up their spring training, getting warmed up, and getting the final touches on before this regular season. The Pistons' great tank to inevitably get fucked out of the first overall pick is going well. So let's take a look at how Detroit sports went this week.
Detroit basketball!
Nope, nothing to see from the Pistons here. Nothing but tanks beyond the eye can see. But hey, the Pistons at least ended their 11-game losing streak and won a game. It may have been against Indiana, but hey, it's something. Yeah, cause the moment I said the Pistons aren't supposed to intentionally lose and not supposed to make the tank look obvious, the Pistons go out and win a game. The moment I call them out for it. Wow, who could have fucking predicted that? I mean, hey, you gotta make it look less obvious to maybe have some slim hope of a chance at not getting fucked in the lottery. But let's be real, even despite that one win the Pistons had this week, they then went right back to tanking and losing. Oh, man. As the Pistons, they're slowly creeping up to nearly a 60-loss season. Like, how many more weeks left in the season? Just, Jesus Christ, this season's just been an absolute nightmare from hell. Like, the only positive that could come out of this season, other than Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren looking really solid and the core looking pretty great for the Pistons, the only positive that can come out of this year, other than potentially winning the lottery for the second time in 3 years, is hopefully Dwayne Casey finally gets fired. We'll have to see what Troy Weaver does. But yeah, other than that, nothing but tanks beyond the eye can see. And despite that one win the Pistons had this week, they're still probably going to get fucked in the lottery to probably the 5th overall pick. Who knows, maybe that win will be enough for the Pistons to end up going down to the 4th overall pick. We shall see in May. I mean, not much else to say for the Tigers. It's spring training preseason. Like, they're still testing and tuning everything. Like, they're trying to put in the final tests and tune-ups on the roster before we get into the regular season and the MLB opening day at the end of the month. Like, now the real question is what the player evaluation is at this point now. Who's going to end up being on the opening day starting lineup for the Tigers? And who is going to end up going down to Toledo and shit and Erie to the minors for at least the start of the year until everyone gets inevitably called up. But yeah, there's been some good rumors that Spencer Torkelson's probably going to get called up again. Now the question is, are they going to fuck up this a second time by rushing him up too quickly? Or is the second time the charm? We'll have to see. We'll have to see later this season. Tune in to find out. Man, it's disappointing how the Red Wings season has gone, especially with so much promise this year at the very start of the year when the Wings got off to that hot start. But like I've always said before, this season is never about how you start. It's always about how you finish. And the Wings, even though they had a great start, so far it's now looking like a very promising finish, dropping 2 straight losses. And now, the Red Wings are on the verge of potentially end up going below 500, which would be kind of sad. Because the Wings have been above 500 nearly all season. And now they're right on that thin line between from having a winning record to a losing record. Like, that's kind of sad how much this team has fucking collapsed. Like, this team had so much promise this year. It looked like maybe this was the year the Wings were finally going to make it back to the playoffs. And then, just a complete and utter collapse. You know, losses, pretty disappointing loss to Nashville. And then just getting the doors blown off them by Colorado. So, yeah, I'm not sure how to feel about this season, to be honest. Like, yes, the Wings made some progress this year, but even then, I still kind of feel disappointed because the Wings were this close to perpetually being in a playoff spot. And despite all the progress they made, just still isn't enough to make it in the dance. Which is kind of frustrating, but, Steve Eisman did make some good progress. I'll give him that, and Derek Long is looking like a solid coach so far. Like, I'll just say 100% without a shadow of a doubt, this is 100% progression from where the fuck we were with Jeff Blashill last year. Because last year at Blashill, we were getting blown the fuck out a lot. This year, not really the case. Like, the only time the Wings truly gotten blown out is when they faced some really high, young, octane teams. But yeah, still kind of disappointing, especially with the start the Wings had this year. Like, I think some of us might have jumped the gun a little bit too early, but, thinking this was the year the Wings make it back to the dance. But, just in the end, Steve Eisman didn't feel this team was a cup contender. And, to be honest, it's not really worth making the playoffs unless you're gonna fucking do something in it. But yeah, just a pretty disappointing end to the season after looking like so much promise early in the year. At least the one highlight we had this week was Simon Edmondson getting his NHL debut against Colorado, so at least there's one positive there. You'll get him warmed up when he's probably more than likely going to be coming up to the roster next year. Like, honestly, for Edmondson, I think it's time he comes up to the roster next year. We'll have to see what other young prospects come up too. Like, I think Kosa's going to take another year in the minors. We'll have to see what the goaltending situation looks like. And, that's going to have to be addressed in the offseason. 100%. And then, Casper's going to be a couple more years before he comes up. But I think next year, it's Simon Edmondson time. And we'll have to see if it's Kosa's season next year or not. Probably not, but you never truly know. But yeah, But I think you give Steve Eisman and Derek Long another offseason, to get their guys in and get all the pieces they need in place. I think 100% the Wings could 100% make the playoffs next year. Maybe not this year, but I think they have a strong chance to do it next year. And I say is that the Wings want, and I say that the Wings is, if the Red Wings want to regain their spot as the #1 sports team in Detroit, they better do something quick because the Detroit Lions, with some of the moves they made in free agency, I think it's safe to say the Lions are starting to fucking run away with #1 sports team in Detroit. And yes, I am very aware about the Lions signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson last night. I found out about that as soon as I was getting ready to go to bed. I saw my phone light up and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, okay, damn. And yes, I am going to talk about all the free agent moves the Lions made. I'm doing that in a separate video near the end of the month. So don't worry, I am aware of the Red Lions free agency. I'm going to address that later. But yeah, just, I think another offseason here with Stevie Y, Derek Long to get their guys in. And I think the Wings, they're definitely making some great progress, but they still got a ways to go. Here's the good news for Stevie Y and his draft magic. Stevie Y at least has 4 first-round picks the next 2 years to work with. To at least get his magic going. So, I'm not 100% worried, because, honestly, with the way the draft is, I think wherever the Wings are in the draft order, that's probably going to be where they are. I don't see them winning the lottery. I don't think they can jump. I don't think they'll jump in the top 3. I think they're around, 9th or 10th? I think that's probably going to be where they end up drafting. We'll have to see what happens still with it, since we're entering the last month of the season. Because the season ends in mid-April before we get to the playoffs. But, I think for the Wings, simply put, I think the chances of the Wings making the playoffs are pretty much shot now. But I say at least just try and end the season on a strong note. get some wins here because, to be honest, I don't really think the wins are going to move up or down too much. Like, I think just try and win, end the season on a positive note to get some momentum to enter the offseason with. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Red Wings get lucky in the draft lottery. I mean, you know, maybe this is the year they finally do it. I mean, we said it the last 2 years. Maybe third time's the charm. We'll have to see. But yeah, man. Just a pretty disappointing week for Red Wings hockey. But you know what? To see what happens, I do got a couple trash talk videos coming out. One tomorrow on the St. Louis Blues, so you got that one to look forward to. Like, I only got 3 NHL ones left, and they are St. Louis, Winnipeg, and Toronto. And then after that, I'm focused on any trash talk videos I have will be on MLB for the hate series. As for the MLB hate trash talk videos, I'm mainly just gonna use those, do the same thing I did with them last year. And I'm mainly just gonna use those videos as a test and tune-up session to get ready for the NFL season, because I did that last year before the NFL season. Treat them as test and tune sessions, and that really got me in my groove right as we enter an NFL season. So I think, you know what, I'll do that again. Not gonna be as many as last year, but enough. But yeah, just pretty disappointing week, but you know, at this point it's just about progression and player evaluation and seeing what the weaknesses are in the team. I think it's pretty obvious what the weaknesses are. You know, need a number 2 center, need a 40-goal scorer. You know, have to address the goaltending situation. You know, it's just player evaluation and seeing what Stevie Y's got to get done in the offseason to take this team to that next step. Like this year, at least the Wings got a taste of competing in the playoff race. You know, next year, though, take it that next step and make it to the dance. Whether it be in the wild card or, hell, making top 3 in the division. But yeah, you know, just rough week for Red Wings hockey, but let's just try and end this last month of the season on a high note. The Wings definitely got some pieces in place and got the steps to move forward, but they still got some ways to go.